Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And today we're talking about Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 5. Gonna talk real briefly about Gina and Clint. We talked about them last week, and I'm just gonna say I was right, I think. I mean, Gina brought this whole downfall, I believe, on herself because she talks too much. Last week we saw her say way too much to Clint's family.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know if Clint's family has gotten back to him on what she said, because they didn't have to, because she just went ahead and said it to his face. And I don't know if this woman just be drinking too much and just get loose at the lips or what, but she's saying too much and she's not even delivering it in a way that most people are going to receive well. So anyhow, we see that the episode start out where they're pretty good. They had to detour from their excursion, but they were remaining like kind of in a positive mood, which a lot of people wouldn't. They had they said they had like a 2 or 3 hour delay in their travel. It was a storm. It was just a mess. We find out later on the after party that their luggage had gotten lost. So they have to buy all new stuff. You know, it could have been something more upsetting right on the forefront, but instead they were doing really good and they had actually a pretty good vibe with each other. I thought, up until she put her foot in her mouth. They went, I don't know what water they got in. I wrote it down. I called it a swamp swim, because I was like, ugh, what type of and Gina is in a 2-piece bathing suit.
Yes. Now,
we haven't heard Clint say anything about her body type or anything aside, that she was a attractive person.
Yes.
I think. Nor had we technically heard her say in his presence anything about his appearance. She kind of talks in doublespeak, because she'll say, oh, he's hot. Did she say something one time like he's a 12 out of 10, babe, or something like that?
I don't recall.
I think she said that. If I'm wrong, correct me and tell me who said that.
Yeah.
But she says things like that. And then, of course, she comes back and she tells his family, well, she's initially attracted to redheads and, this and that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the truth is. I guess we're hearing the truth when she says she's not as attracted, but she just needs to stop talking.
Yeah, that would definitely help.
Take this lady's microphone away, because she's doing too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just seen them time and again get along really well. They're sipping wine together, and that's probably part of the problem. But there was kind of a shift in the mood when they sat down and talked. It was at some outdoor venue that they were. And I want to say, did he not have a shirt on or something? It seemed like he had minimal clothes on. Yeah. And maybe that did it to her. I don't really know. But she talks about how she told the experts, I suppose, that she didn't really vibe with people who had gingery features.
Yeah.
So the red head, the light skin, the freckles, etc., that just wasn't her type of guy.
Yeah.
But she also talked about, vibing on we get along really well level, and, connecting with somebody in a different way, and that bringing about a physical attraction. So she made it very clear to him that he wasn't her physical cup of tea. And you see his face, he develops a twitch. And she's saying these things. If you didn't see it the first time, watch it back, because his nose is twitching.
Really
he doesn't know how to take it.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like he strikes me as the type of person that's never been confronted with that. Never been told he wasn't attractive. Maybe the people that he hits on typically are attracted to him. He already knows.
Maybe they're not so blunt as to tell him, I don't like people that look like you.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it wouldn't get so far as you being on vacation and bare-chested with the person either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is an experience like none other.
True.
So, yeah, it's going to be tough, if you don't find a person physically attractive. Like we talk about with Kirsten and Shaquille, it's just that the way that Gina is choosing to do this and deliver things, I think, is a little bit unpalatable, especially for him, because I do feel like he has a bigger ego too than Shaq, for instance. So I think it's very hard for him to take. I think it's written all over his face that he's not receiving it well.
Yeah.
And although we haven't seen this happen yet, we have seen the previews where I believe him to be saying these things out of hurt and retaliation, that, his typical type is athletic and slender. And Gina's not,
She's not that. No.
I mean, she's curvy. She's a curvy lady. Not somebody I would classify as slender. I don't think she has a bad body at all. I mean, I think she has a good shape, but everybody's not everybody else's cup of tea.
True.
So just as he's not her cup of tea, it could very well be that she's not his. Now, does she feel like this is sour grapes? He's just saying that because I said blah, blah, blah. Maybe, but maybe he's just not ruthless and, the type of person who would say that unless he felt like he had an opening or a reason to do so. I'm pretty sure he knew from the moment he saw her in her wedding dress that she wasn't real slender and athletic. And maybe he truly is more attracted to slender and athletic. But I think maybe he was a little bit more open to whatever came down the aisle until she started talking about how unattractive she is to him.
Yeah.
So my husband asked me yesterday, like, what's the big difference between, what he said about her and what she said about him? Like, why is it so much worse what he said?
Potentially because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but we kind of seen it.
Yeah.
And I said, there isn't. For me to try to distinguish it is for me to justify something that's not justifiable. It's equal. It's just that we tend to be more sensitive. We tend to protect bodies and body shaming, particularly of women, in a different way than we do protect other things that people may not be attracted to, like red hair, So, like, if she had the red hair and he were to say, I'm not usually attracted to redheads, I don't think anybody would go, that it just wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd be like, well, okay, whatever, that's your preference. But because it seems to attack her body shape, her body size, and then we've got a lot of real body women on this season.
True that.
And kudos for Married at First Sight for kind of like capturing more body types for women. Because you don't want to see a show like this and look at everybody being real tiny and slender, like Jasmina and who's the other young lady from that?
Her name is slipping my mind. The one that was
Katina,
yeah.
They're both very, very slender, very fit looking, and you look at that and you're like, okay, can you only get cast if you have that body frame? Well, no. Married at First Sight says no to that. We're seeing a lot of different heights and sizes and variations, boobs and hips and all kinds of things are on this season. So I love it. But with that, you also know everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. So I'm going to say I don't like that Gina can dish out what she cannot take. That's what it seems like is going to happen. Again, we will probably talk about this a whole lot more when the actual episode comes out where they fall out over this. But yeah, I think she was a little bit reckless in the way that she talked to him. And, what comes back to you in that situation is fair game.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of like, I take it. It's kind of like for this episode, it's kind of like a tale of two women telling their husbands that they're not attracted to them. First, we had it with Kirsten and Shaq, and now we have it with Gina and
Clint.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Sorry. So I had it with them as well. But Kirsten was able to say it and deliver it in a much more palatable way than what Gina was able to deliver hers. She was very cavalier about how she said it, and without even thinking for a hot second, like, I could be hurting this guy's feelings. Mm-hmm. I could be crushing his ego. I could be, setting him up with some type of self-esteem issue later down the road. And I don't even think any of that occurred to her. She just began to talk about how she's not attracted to him and the reasons why, because of these certain features that he has. Mm-hmm. He's born with. He can't change these things. And so what he's supposed to run out to? The Walgreens and get some hair dye, get some spray on tan, whatever to make himself look more appealing to her. And so what is all of that for? Is that going to change anything? It's no need really to have that type of discussion.
And just to interject mm-hmm. really quickly, mm-hmm. I think too, because they've had more physical contact mm-hmm. than say Kirsten and Shaq, mm-hmm. it maybe wasn't even necessary because I don't think it was something he was perceiving. Whereas Shaq is definitely feeling she's not vibing with me when it comes to Kirsten because she won't kiss him. Mm-hmm. She won't do any of these things that seem a little bit more natural, more affectionate. So maybe some of them, but not enough. It's definitely clear that there's a barrier in between them. Whereas I feel like for Clint, that barrier wasn't apparent to him. So it was kind of unnecessary to even say. Mm-hmm. It was like she just decided, you know what? Let me just attack now. And then she goes, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm not necessarily feeling, however she delivered it, the attraction, the chemistry, mm-hmm. physical chemistry. And why she felt the need to say that, I don't know. I'm wondering, and I asked you about this, if maybe off camera, maybe he tried to take things beyond wherever they had been. Mm. And there was kind of some pushback, and then she felt the need to say it. But certainly what they've shown us on camera, it didn't seem like it was necessary for her to even do that. Yeah. Also, I will say you have to know your personnel that you're dealing with. You can tell in a very short moment the personality traits of Shaquille versus the personality of Clint. And I think we're dealing with men of very different egos. Mm-hmm. Men who are going to take rejection, especially gently delivered rejection, in different ways even. I don't know if there's any way that Gina could have really delivered it to Clint where he would have taken it as well as Shaq. I don't know. Yeah. But she didn't try it.
There was no need. Again, we can't speak for what may have happened behind the scenes without the cameras. That's all I can say is there was no, from what I've seen, what we've seen, there was no need to have that conversation. And again, in Married at First Sight history, as far as I can tell, y'all can let us know if there's some seasons that I may have missed. But when I'm going back through the previous seasons, and just about every time when someone delivers this, I'm not vibing with you, I'm not physically attracted to you, or whatever, on the honeymoon, it just spirals out of control from there. And so I just think even if you're feeling it, give it some time. You just met this person. A couple of days could make the difference, unless you're just utterly repulsed by the person, and you're like this Alyssa trying to run, away from the guy or whatever. And so I do think just pump the brakes. You don't have to have this conversation. Both of you are enjoying each other's company. You're enjoying your honeymoon or vacation, whatever you want to call it. Continue to enjoy it. Continue to start to know each other, past your names.
And now instead, he's going to hit on an insecurity of hers.
Exactly.
And it's going to kind of spiral out of control.
Exactly. Payback is coming.
Yep.
So, but then we also going to see, and I want to talk about next week, because she's going to have her girls come to the rescue for her. And
but see, they don't know everything that happened, everything that was
Mm-hmm.
said. And I think if they could see it play itself out in its entirety, they may have a different point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they won't have they won't have the understanding of actually everything that kind of like led up to
right.
it.
No, you got to tell them what you say.
What you say.
Yeah. So we'll see how much of her story she actually tells. But let us know what you guys think. Do you think it was necessary for her to say something at this point? Are they in the same boat as Kirsten and Shaq, or could she have kept that whole thing to herself? Was it a better way for her to tell him? And are any of us surprised that he kind of clapped back?
He internalized it.
Yeah.
He's about to pay back.
So drop those comments below, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.